After David killed Goliath, he returned as a hero, and the people loved him. But King Saul became angry and jealous of him. So Saul plotted to have David killed. Ironically, Saul's own family members, his son Jonathan, and his daughter Michal intervened and protected David. Now Saul's daughter Michal was in love with David. When Saul found out that his younger daughter, Michal, was in love with David, he offered her in marriage to David, in return for 100 Philistine foreskins, thinking that David would be killed in the battle against the Philistines. However, David was not killed by the Philistines as Saul hoped, but returned in triumph. So Saul gave his daughter Michal to David to be his wife. King Saul's son, Jonathan, and David had become close friends. He spoke well of David to his father.
David has never done anything to harm you. He has always helped you in any way he could. Have you forgotten about the time he risked his life to kill the Philistine giant? And how the Lord brought a great victory to all Israel as a result? You were certainly happy about it then. Why should you murder an innocent man like David? There is no reason for it at all.
Jonathan made the king promise not to harm David. Saul listened to Jonathan, and things went well for David for a while till the incident, when Saul was tormented by the evil spirit, and he hurled a spear at David. In the previous video, we look at Saul's attempt to kill David with a spear. This video looks at the events after the spearing incident, how God delivered David from further attempts to have David killed. After David had escaped from Saul's spear, Saul sent troops to watch David's house. They were told to arrest and kill David the next morning. That night, his wife Michal helped him climb out through a window, and he fled and escaped. When the troops came to arrest David, she told them he was sick and couldn't get out of bed. But Saul sent the troops back to get David. But when they came to carry David out, they discovered that it was only an idol in the bed, with a cushion of goat's hair at its head. David fled to Ramah to see Samuel, and told him all that Saul had done to him. When Saul was told that David was at Ramah, he sent troops to capture him. But when they arrived and saw Samuel leading a group of prophets, the Spirit of God came upon Saul's men, and they began to prophesy. When Saul heard what happened, he sent other troops, but they too prophesied. The same thing happened a third time. Finally, Saul himself went to Ramah. But on the way, the Spirit of God came even upon Saul, and he prophesied all the way to Ramah. When he arrived, he tore off his clothes and lay naked on the ground, all day and all night, prophesying in the presence of Samuel. David then fled from Ramah. After that, David arranged a secret meeting with Jonathan. He asked,
"What is my sin before your father that he is seeking my life?"
However, Jonathan is not convinced that his father would do such a thing without disclosing it to him. Jonathan was open to anything David wanted to suggest to prove his point. David proposed a simple test of Saul's true feelings. The next day was the new moon feast, and David was supposed to dine with the king. But he was going to hide in a field instead. Jonathan agreed to let David know if Saul was angry, and still planning to kill him. When the new moon feast came, the king sat down to eat. David's place was empty. Saul did not say anything about it, for he thought that something must have made David ceremonially unclean, and therefore unable to participate in the feast that day. But the next day, when David's seat at the table was still empty, Saul asked,
"Why isn't David here either yesterday or today?"
Jonathan gave the excuse he and David had agreed upon, and told his father that David was in Bethlehem, with his family making a sacrifice. Saul's anger flared at Jonathan.
"You have sided with David to your own shame. As long as he lives, you will not become king. Now go and get him so I can kill him."
But why should he be put to death? What has he done?
Jonathan asked. Saul hurled his spear at Jonathan in anger. Jonathan is now convinced that his father was really determined to kill David. The next morning, Jonathan went out to the field where David was hiding. He told the young boy with him,
"Run and find the arrows I shoot."
As the boy ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. When the boy came to the place where Jonathan's arrow had fallen, Jonathan called out the secret signal he had made to warn David.
"Isn't the arrow beyond you? Hurry! Go quickly! Don't stop!"
The boy picked up the arrow and returned to his master. Jonathan gave his bow and arrows to the boy and said,
"Go, take them back to town."
As soon as the boy was gone, David came out from his hiding place and bowed down before Jonathan 3 times, with his face to the ground. They embraced each other and wept. Jonathan said to David,
"Go in peace. For we have sworn loyalty to each other in the name of the Lord. God is witness of the bond between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever."
Then David left, and Jonathan returned home. These 3 events demonstrate how God employed both natural and supernatural methods to protect David from Saul's attempts to kill him. God worked through David's wife, Michal, and his friend Jonathan to foil Saul's plans. Additionally, the Spirit of God came upon 3 groups of soldiers sent to Ramah to capture David, causing them to prophesy instead of fulfilling Saul's command.